What's up, folks? Today it's a nasty day here. We're kind of hunkered down. It's rainy, gross. I've been wanting to do this cook for a long time. This is my first time doing it. I'm doing a hot and fast brisket on the pit barrel cooker. First time I've ever done it, so I'm probably going to make some mistakes along the way, but if you want to learn with me, just keep watching. We're going to go ahead and we're going to get this pit barrel fired up here. I don't have any charcoal in it yet, but I'm just going to cook on some Kingsford briquettes and throw in, I'll throw in some pecan. I think that's all I have right now. Throw in some pecan chunks. We've got some friends coming over. We'll just do that. I'm hoping to do this cook pretty quickly. From what I understand, it's like a 5-hour cook. We're gonna hang it. I see a lot of folks that they don't hang it. So I'm just gonna give that a shot and see. It might suck. It might be awesome. I'm not really sure. So stick around. We'll get this grill fired up. We'll get the brisket trimmed up, seasoned. I won't walk you through all that. I've got other videos out there on that. Stay tuned. Should be fun. We'll let that come up to temp, and then we'll see you guys back inside. We've got the brisket all seasoned up now. I did what I think is going to be a pretty interesting combination of rubs this time. I didn't go my normal route with just one rub. I did 3 different rubs this time. I'll show those to you in a second, and we'll drop in some clips of seasoning and trimming that brisket right about now. And so here are the rubs that we used. We used Kosmo's Q Cow Cover Hot. One of my favorite places to eat barbecue around here is Cooper's. They were started in Llano, Texas, and now they've got a place in Fort Worth. Love their rub. Awesome on ribs. We're trying it on brisket today. And then can't go wrong with the SuckleBuster's 1836 beef rub. I use this on steaks. I've used it on brisket. So I think the 3 of these in combination are just going to have a multiplicative effect on amazing flavor. This one is actually one of my favorites. It's made right here, really close to where we live here in Texas. So glad to support the local community, and just have really enjoyed their product. So be very interested to see how this brisket comes out. So we will see you back outside when we're ready to hang this thing. I'm gonna put the hooks in it, hang it. I gotta go look at and see what Pit Barrel recommends you do when you do that. I think it's like a double hook setup where you kind of interlink the hooks. So I'll get that figured out, get it in the brisket, and then we will go and hang this thing once we're up to temp on the pit. All All right, guys. We've got the pit barrel. It's stabilized a little bit. What I was finding is on the standard setting for my altitude, when I had both poles in, it was stabilizing actually around 255, which is slightly lower than what Pit Barrel Cooker says it should stabilize at. I think they say it should stabilize around 275 or so, but has some fluctuations. But what I did was I didn't adjust my bottom vent on this thing. I'll show you what my vent setting is. But what I did do is I took one pole out, one of the rebar pieces. So we're one pole in it today. I think that'll be good. I think the last time I checked, I've got my fireboard in there right now, just checking the temp at the pole or at the hanger, and I was stabilizing around 280. I think it's probably gone up a little bit by now, but I'll show you guys the fireboard, and then anyways, we're gonna throw the pecan on. I got a couple of chunks of pecan wood, and then we're gonna hang the brisket. What I ultimately wound up doing with the brisket is I used 4 hooks. I'm not quite sure how I'm gonna get it to hang on the rebar, because I put 2 hooks in the top and then I intertwined or interlinked 2 more on the bottom to kind of just give it more stability. I'll show you that. But I don't know, I may have to change that, modify it. This is the first time doing it, so a little bit of a learning curve. Whew, that thing's smoking. Anyway, so let me show you the settings that I have. I'll show you the temp, and then we'll get this thing hanging. So let's take a look here. So there, it's a little dirty, and then I only have 1 pole in, and then okay, we've gone up a little bit since I last checked. We're at 291, so we're still rising. So I'm just gonna let it go. I'm gonna let it go and do whatever it wants to do. I don't care. This is all a fun experiment. Worst case scenario, we're ordering pizza tonight, so not a big deal. But I don't think that'll be the case. We're just having fun. We're in the middle of this COVID crisis, so kind of like laying low a little bit, not super paranoid. But I will say that was the last prime brisket that they had at Costco last night. So people are getting crazy, man. So anyways, let's get this thing hanging. And here's how I did the hooks. We'll see. I'm a little bit worried about getting these to hang the same way on the rebar, so I may have to kind of twist them a little bit. But the brisket's looking really good. There were a couple of pretty big gashes from the factory, so to speak. So I'll see how that goes. All right, guys, that was a big mess. I hung the brisket up, and what happened was it's a big brisket, and so it was sitting there right in the fire. I mean, you could hear it just sizzling, and so I decided I took it off. And what I could have done is I could have split the flat from the point. But what I'm going to do for this round is we've got everything seasoned up and ready. I'm just going to go ahead and do it full brisket. I put the regular grill grate in, just the regular grate that comes with it. And so it's on there. It doesn't fit super well, but I'll go and I'm going to do that, and every 30 minutes or so I'll kind of rotate it and let it, and just because the fire, for inconsistencies in the fire, things like that. But yeah, a little disappointed in that, but we'll see how it comes out. This is kind of my first time doing one of those hot and fast, so maybe we shouldn't change so many things all at once. But I'll show you guys the brisket here, and then we'll come back. I'll show you guys maybe about 30 minutes to an hour. I'm gonna go do my morning run. It's turning out to be not a bad day here. I mean, it's a little humid. Looks like the rain may be kind of stopping for a little while, although it's supposed to be off and on all day here in North Texas. So I'll do that, and then come back and show you guys what we're working with at that point in time. Alright guys, we've been on for about an hour now. It's smoking away. The temperature started to rise on me a little bit. I noticed we were sitting at like 360, and I thought that might be a little bit high. So I went ahead and I double pulled it. We're no longer one pulling. We've got one of the rebar pieces, two of the rebar pieces in now. So let's take a quick look at it. I think what I'm going to do is flip it. I don't know, it just seems like the right thing to do right now. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll show you guys, and then we'll flip it, and then we'll let it go for probably another 1 to 2 hours on this. I haven't even started probing it yet for temp or anything. I'm really just looking for that bark to be set up and for it to have a nice color to it. So let's take a gander here. Oh yeah, we're getting some good color. Still got a lot of smoke. Even for such a high temperature. You can see grill itself sitting around 350, so not bad. I'm gonna go and take the rebar posts out, and then we'll flip it. Guys, take a look at the color we're getting on here. We're getting some really nice color. Sorry, all that fat is dropping down on those coals and coming back up onto the brisket, so and smoking real good, so it's hard to get a good picture. And we're dealing with, it's a little bit dark outside today, but man, that looks awesome. Really excited. I'll let this go. We'll let this go a little bit longer, and we'll show you guys when we go. We'll wrap it. I think we're gonna wrap in foil and do, you know, maybe some beef stock with it, something like that. So we'll talk to you in a little bit. We're back. The internal temp on the brisket is now at about 163, which that's usually when I would wrap it anyways. So I was just looking at it. Looks like it's got really good color. I'll show you guys the color. We're gonna pull this thing off, wrap it in some foil. I'm gonna put it in some chicken broth. That's all I have, and I don't feel like going out to the store. So chicken broth, bourbon, and some barbecue sauce will be good. So let's give you guys a look, and then we'll get it inside. Okay, we're ready to wrap this brisket, and I'm just gonna throw some stuff in here. I'm not gonna do bourbon. I'm gonna do this Crown Royal Texas Mesquite. Just had some lying around. I'm gonna put a couple ounces in here. I'm just gonna go in the bottom here. Some of that in there. I'm gonna put a little bit more of our rub all over down in here, and do it for all of them. A little more Kosmos in there, and then we'll put a little bit more of this 1836 in as well, just to kind of keep the flavor profile going. I don't know if it makes a big difference, but it makes you feel better. Then we're gonna just put some Stub's original barbecue sauce in, and so I'm just gonna go in there. I'm hoping all this stuff together will be good. And then I've also got just some chicken broth. I know I don't have beef broth, and I don't feel like going to the store. People are being crazy right now, so that's that. So I'm gonna put that in, and I don't have any beef injection. Otherwise, I would have totally added a beef injection. One thing I'm noticing is, like right here, you can see I probably should have cut that off, because that's gotten a little hard and charred, and like this piece right here, it's a little bit, but like over here, I mean, it's very moist. So just some of these little pieces that, like, if I was Aaron Franklin, I would have totally cut those off. So let's get this wrapped up, and then we'll put it back out on the smoker. Okay, guys, if you made it to the end of the video, congrats. I know it was a long video. Sorry, I don't have video of taste testing or anything like that. We had people coming over, and it was crazy. Didn't have time to film, and didn't want to put a bunch of people on film who didn't want to be there. So all I will say is that is how I'm going to cook brisket from now on. It was quite amazing. The flavor of those 3 rubs combined was wonderful. It was great. I may tweak a few things in the future. I definitely feel like with brisket, sometimes injecting just for the flavor is something that you could do that would really help out. It had perfect flavor, but I always like a little bit more saltiness in my meat like that. So that's something you could consider doing. Or one thing I found that's super helpful is when you go and just season it the night before, let it sit in the fridge. I've gotten really good results with that, especially with large cuts of meat, that and ribs too. Ribs, I always like to season those the night before. So once again, I'll just say that was a 4-hour cook. I mean, you can do a brisket in 4 hours. I mean, are you kidding me? And still have it be juicy. You guys saw in the video, I mean, perfect bend, perfect pull apart. It was a great brisket, and everyone really, really enjoyed it. So I definitely recommend trying that out. You won't be disappointed. I didn't try it out for a long time because I didn't want to waste like a very expensive brisket or a very expensive cut of meat. But you should definitely try that out, and I hope everybody's staying safe out there right now. It's in the middle of this COVID crisis. Definitely, do everything that everybody's telling you to do. Just do the right thing, and hopefully we'll see you on the other side of this. But until then, have a great time cooking, enjoy time with your family, and we're out.